very much. I'm delighted to be here, and being an entrepreneur, I told them that my next business I was going to start was a 12-step program for recovering entrepreneurs, and I would be the charter member, and nobody believes me. So while I'm in government service, I hope you're doing all that you can to spur breakthrough developments on the private and the not-for-profit as well as the profit sector. So anyways, thank you very much. And as it says, I'm the Chief Innovation Officer, and it was a job that the new administrator created because he believed two things. He knew that USAID, in its long and proud history, had actually been quite innovative. That the nature of development is that you don't have all of the access to products and skill sets, etc. So you actually are often forced to be quite innovative in devising solutions. And so one, he knew that it had been quite innovative, and two, that he wanted his legacy to be one of science, technology, and innovation, to really rebuild USAID to be as forward-looking in a historic sense. And so we have a couple of ways we think about that. We are given the privilege of distributing about $20 billion a year in foreign assistance. We operate in 80 to 100 countries. And so we are looking at how to best leverage that. We would love to imagine the day that there would be an NIH type of facility in development, but in this fiscal era, to think that we would get $25 or $30 billion for basic R&D is probably not likely. So as an entrepreneur, I say, I have a tin cup and I wander around, and so what I noticed was that the federal government overall spends about $150 billion on R&D. And they do extraordinary work. And so our job is to leverage as much of that as possible in a cooperative way to look at breakthrough solutions to help, whether it's in global health, democracy and governance, economic development, and other areas. The other belief we have is that innovation comes from all different places. And I'll give you an example. There was a OBGYN in Africa. And she was frustrated because women, as you know, the #1 indicator for maternal mortality is the lack of somebody being present at the time that the woman is giving birth. And so women, as all of us do, we wait till the last possible second usually to go to the hospital or to seek help. That's certainly true in developing nations. And this woman, and so they get to the hospital, but if they don't get there during the 2 hours that the hospital actually has electricity, then the OBGYN is doing a C-section with a flashlight. So she herself created a solar suitcase that has a photovoltaic on the outside, it has a battery, and it powers enough, and it costs about $1,000. So this is an example of, we believe that innovation comes from all different places. She was an electrical engineer, she hadn't spent her time and energy, but she came up with a solution that we think is scalable. And so we have done two things. We're setting up a process inside USAID to, whether it's us or others who have pioneered some of these really innovative ideas, and more about focus, scale, and impact. So how do you scale that idea? And that's a very different skill set. That's what Silicon Valley is second to none in the world in, and we have to get better at it. Pharma is good at that as well. And lastly, we are just launching, we actually just had the initial solicitation out last Friday, called the Development Innovation Ventures. And we're taking the venture capital model and applying it to development. So we have stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Stage 1 is less than $100,000, where we're just looking for proof of concept. For all of these, we're looking at scale. We're building and thinking. There's a lot of things in development that are good to do, but we're focused on things that scale. And our bar is we want to see things that scale at least to 75 million people or more. So that's stage 1. Stage 2 is you scale it in a country. Stage 3 is you scale it in that country, plus you get started in 3 others. So lots more, but let me end there, and I'll look forward to the wisdom of my panelists and the questions from the audience.